always nice to see you, Sharan. I know you from so many years. You're a Bangalore boy, and nice to see you. You want roles, you order things to express your passion. To share it with you.
You're still seen as that approachable Bangalore boy who still deeply cares about Bangalore, and that is something that's common between all of us.
Thanks, Sharan. Thank you. We should first get a coffee. You let's leave that now. Give that patient. Yes.
So, out of curiosity, when you keep traveling around on work, you also have a commitment to the people that elected you. So, how do you maintain that communication? And one of the good things that I've heard about your office is that A, it has a lot of youngsters, and B, they're extremely communicative. Like they're very approachable, and you email them once and then you get a response back. And that to me feels like a good investment on part of the people.
I think as an elected representative, your primary responsibility is to the people who have voted you and elected you to office.
Sure.
And while all of these responsibilities do take me everywhere, I am very grateful to have a young but extremely committed, team of people here in Bangalore, young people in Bangalore, who also share the same passion towards public service. I'm extremely blessed that way, Sharan. I'm the oldest in my office. So you can imagine how young the others are. Most of them are in their 25, 26 years old. We now have the experience of having run 2 Lok Sabha elections. And every day, from dealing with visa requests, dealing with embassies and ambassadors and consul generals in Bangalore, to dealing with officials of BBMP to get some garbage cleared in an empty site, to street dog menace, to somebody's hospital bills to be given some discount, to helping somebody seek an admission in a school, to getting darshan in Tirupati or Dharmasthala.
You can't say no to anybody.
All of this the office does, the team does, in an extremely efficient manner. In that sense, I feel extremely blessed because I have a team that supports me in this manner. This also shows that if you place faith in young people and give them opportunities and trust them with entrust them with responsibility, they will step up. We may make mistakes, but if it's only those who do something who are making mistakes. If you are a very passive, inactive person, you will not do any mistakes. If somebody is doing mistakes, it means that guy is doing something.
Yeah.
So they will learn. And they also know the seriousness of the responsibility that, they are dealing with. So
back when Professor Rajiv Kada just became a Rajya Sabha MP, I remember him telling me this, that there were a set of supporters who came to garland him because he got nominated, and then there was already a bunch of people who had complaints. So he told me, Sharan, what do? I don't even have that kind of wealth. I'm just nominated. We don't have any budget for it, and this is not what a Rajya Sabha MP does. So I see that frustration in a lot of politicians, and Shashi Tharoor also has mentioned this, that one is that you can't turn away somebody because they look up to you and they think that you have the solution to everything. How do you, does it frustrate you when people don't understand that distinction? How do you deal with it?
now, does it frustrate because you can't solve all of their issues?
It's
Yes.
not in your hands. Yeah.
Yes. But who is at fault here? It's not the person coming to you with complaint because the system is not delivering it to him.
Correct.
Now, if you do not have it, for example, in the case of Bangalore, it's been 5 years we don't have elected corporation here. And it's the municipal corporation that is primarily responsible for these municipal function delivery. The pothole-free roads, garbage-free streets and neighborhoods, ensuring that pipe water, comes to your house properly. These are basic municipal supplies. But if that is, if the system itself is not there, if you don't have an elected corporator, where will the people go? They will then have to go to the MLA. And then if the MLA intervenes, gets it solved, well and good. Otherwise, they will want to escalate it further and they will say, okay, let us at least go to the MP. So you can't blame the person because he is not able to differentiate between the roles. Because the system is failing him. The system is not delivering the basics that it is supposed to deliver. So you can't tell him that the primary duty of a member of parliament is legislation, policy in parliament. We don't have executive powers to, solve all the problems in the city. You should go to the BBMP commissioner, you should go to the mayor, you should go to this person.
So what do you do in such a case?
Well, we try to talk to the people who are actually wielding such executive authority.
You do their job.
We call them and for example, we call the joint commissioner of that particular area.
Right.
We call the BBMP commissioner. We tell them, sir, this is a municipal problem. They have come with, these complaints. Please meet them. Try to address this issue. This is what we try to do. Why it is important to educate people that, because, sometimes I see on Twitter and, social media comments saying, why don't you get this done? While it is important for us to educate people that as MPs, we don't wield executive power to actually, monitor and get things done, and nor do we have the power of the purse to actually fund infrastructure projects and get things done. We must also make sure that efforts are made to communicate the problem that the citizen communicates us to the concerned people. That's the least we can do. And that is something that we always do. I make phone calls to even executive engineers of concerned wards. And I tell them, sir, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕಸ ಎತ್ತಿಲ್ವಂತೆ, ಈ ರೋಡಲ್ಲಿ ನೀರು ಬರ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ವಂತೆ, ಬೋರ್ವೆಲ್ ಕೆಟ್ಟೋಗಿದೆಯಂತೆ, ಇದನ್ನ ರಿಪೇರಿ ಮಾಡಿಸ್ಕೊಡಿ. So whether it is an assistant executive engineer, medical, MHO ಅಂತಾರೆ, health officer. I have spoken to all of these people. If it is a bigger issue, I have spoken to the joint commissioners. If it is a more serious issue, we have spoken to the commissioner of the BBMP. So we have tried to send the problem to those who have the power to actually make a difference. But this still doesn't solve the fact that the institution that should actually respond is absent. It is most unfortunate.
So if you were to look at the political template nationally, there are some signs that we are recovering as a nation, economically, spiritually, fundamentally as well. And there are young elected representatives like you getting into the parliament. So there is a sense of hope. When you see, when we were growing up, you used to hear about a scam every other day. But that is not true, at least at a central level. But that person-to-person corruption at a local level still exists. The disarray at, a municipal level still exists. So unless we really fix that, how do we resolve this? Is there some template that you have seen, whether it's abroad or in India? Is it possible to make it work?
No, absolutely. And you are very right when you say in your assessment that urban governance in India has taken a back seat and it is in disarray, to borrow your words. As a nation, over the last 7 decades in our existence as an independent nation, we have not prioritized urbanization and urban governance with the priority that it deserved. Cities are the engines of economic growth. But we considered ourselves to be a largely rural economy, rural country, and our resources, our political narratives, our political capital, everything was invested only in making that better.
Yeah.
While people kept migrating to cities because that's the only way economic growth takes place.
Correct.
And our cities kept growing larger. You saw more and more people migrating from rural areas to our cities. But institutions that were supposed to deliver better governance in cities never actually arose. And it has been the same case in almost every Indian city. You take Mumbai today, the elections to the municipal corporation has not happened in a timely fashion. You take Pune, it is the same case. You take Chennai, it is the same case. You take Bangalore, corporation elections last happened 5 years ago. You don't have elected representatives here. So even though there was a 73rd, 74th amendment to the parliament to empower local bodies, it never translated into a constitutional, protection for regular conduct of elections for these institutions. So it is always at the whim and fancy of the state government. One. Two, these institutions do not have financial autonomy and financial strength. They are given a pittance because most of the tax revenues goes to the central and the state governments, and it is only the state governments that decides, okay, a certain percentage gets devolved to these local bodies. So they do not even have the power of the purse. First, they don't have the power of the political power. Second, they don't have power financially. Third, there is absolutely no capacity building that has happened at the municipal level. Bangalore, Sharan, is suffering from bad urban planning.
Yeah.
It is suffering from insane traffic jams. But the BBMP does not have traffic engineers. It doesn't have specialized town planners. It is the same executive engineer with a civil engineering degree who actually has no academic training in urban planning or town planning, who keeps getting posted. Oh, he is posted as ADTP, he is posted as something else. And all that they do, with all due respect to the exceptional officers who may have occupied these posts, the 95% of them come, and if you are building a house, 5 days after the materials come in front of your house, they come, money is sought for plan approval, rent is sought, money is sought before your occupation certificate. The bylaws are in such a way that you can never construct a house, without a violation. So the moment there is a violation, they come and, per square feet, start seeking rent. This is the urban planning. This is what passes off as town planning and urban planning in cities. So I think if we are serious about urban governance, we need to think long term, build and strengthen institutions politically, financially, and ensure that the cadre who is present there, the cadre of officers, there is accountability. You asked about are there examples from around the world? Almost every developed country has a full-time elected accountable mayor who has political and financial authority to actually deliver things.
Yeah.
It is absolutely absent in India's case.
But we
At
like
least here in Karnataka's case.
But we like Zoran Mamdani and we support him.
Well, it's restricted to some woke circles on certain social media pockets. But on a more serious note, why should we not learn from New York's mayoral system?
Absolutely.
A directly elected mayor who has the political and the financial authority to actually make a difference. And if he doesn't make a difference in the 5 years, he's elected out. There is an accountability.
Yeah.
Here in Bangalore, we had a 1-year term for a appointed mayor. Not even directly elected mayor. It was a mayor in council. 1-year term. Bangalore has 198 wards. If you take out the public holidays and the general holidays and the festival holidays, etc., even if the mayor makes a visit to one ward every day, he will not be able to complete the 198 wards in his tenure.
100%.
And naturally, the first month after getting elected goes in, taking around felicitations of getting nominated or elected. And then the last 2 months goes in preparation for your retirement. You have 8 months remaining. What will you do? Such structurally deficient institutions we have put in place for urban governance. The mayor is seen more as a ceremonial power. All the power rests with the municipal commissioner.
But, to be fair, I think the public frustration, at least in Bangalore, lies on both the parties, Tejasvi. Because even the BJP maybe did not try to do, but, they've not done enough.
Correct?
People feel.
100%. If Bengaluru today has its municipal problems. All political parties that had opportunity to rule the state are equally responsible. There may have been incremental steps done by everybody, but it is still not enough. Well, I can say that when BJP was in power, we tried to expedite metro construction.
Sure.
We tried to bring in the BMLTA Act to have some coordination. We tried to, from this 1 year mayor, term, we tried to make it 2.5 years. These are all changes I say, BJP can take credit for. But is it still enough? It is not.
Right.
Therefore, I completely agree with you that unless there is a systemic relook at how urban governance is dealt with and how state capacity is built at the municipal level, unless these two things are addressed at a more comprehensive level, there is no, redemption from this urban mess that we are in.
In a ministry event in Delhi recently, a bunch of students, I was in the infrastructure vertical. So a bunch of students made a very interesting presentation on this concept called Ru-Urbanization. Because what you said about migration towards cities, it's absolutely true and it's only going to increase. And it's fair, somebody is coming here seeking a better life because he or she is not getting it there. It's absolutely justified on their part. And this is a two-parter I want to ask you. One is that, do we develop, first we try to build cities all across India. You look at China, they have 100, 150 odd cities. India, we tried to do that, but we are somewhat limitedly successful. So do we focus on, say, creating these mega cities and just focusing on them and making it better? Or do we need this urbanization concept where we urbanize the rural areas?
These two are not mutually exclusive or parallel tracks. They need to go together. And it is not at the cost of one or. It's not like, either or question. Both needs to be done. India, and this has been the priority of the government under Narendra Modi for the last 10 years. To address India's gross and acute infrastructure deficit, whether it is in the rural areas or whether it is in the urban areas. Today, just in the last 10 years, we have increased the metro coverage to so many countries. The number of buses that we are giving to cities has increased.
Gujarat has done it.
Absolutely. Likewise, we have also focused on Gram Sadak Yojana to bring, all-weather roads to villages. So both has happened. We need to double down on this.
Okay.
But we must understand that cities are the future of the country. This is where your economic growth is going to come from. This is where innovation, this is where industries, this is where the critical mass for the country's growth will come from. And we need to completely understand this and prioritize this. So this is something that as a country we must do. And we must build institutions to support this.
Yeah. This reminds me of a speech that you gave long ago. I think you'll remember which. It was at Mount Carmel's. And there also you passionately spoke about, how Bangalore is becoming messy and why the Karnataka government is not doing anything. And I felt you were impartial there. You may have your bias because of a political leaning, but you were largely impartial. But when it comes to all this, do you think we often try to find blame on others because we have our shortcomings? It's easy to blame somebody for being a migrant in a city that belongs to his country. Anybody can go anywhere, anybody can speak any language, and of course, like there needs to be a lot of language pride, and there's frustration also because now I live in Delhi for the last 3 years, and I have learned Hindi there just to make myself comfortable with that space over there. So I know this is a tricky issue, but do you think because we have our limitations, we try to shift the blame on people and politics and language?
I agree with you, but this is a more nuanced debate, more nuanced problem. Every city in the world which is grown at a fast pace and has made a global impact has done so by being welcoming and by being cosmopolitan.
Right.
The strength of Bengaluru is its cosmopolitan nature.
Yeah.
Even today, whether it is judges who get posted to the High Court or a software engineer who comes here on an on-site project, never wants to leave this place because of how welcoming and how cosmopolitan and how beautiful Bengaluru is. Sharan, the strength of this city is this cosmopolitanism. And this is not from today. This is not from, like last 10 years. It's not a recent phenomena.
100%.
When Kempe Gowda founded this city, if you go to the core, the old Bengaluru, every quarter was made for one particular community, one particular, ethnicity, linguistic community, to bring all of them together. There was Akkipete, there was Balepete, there was area where, there were Tamil speakers, then there were, area for Telugu speakers, there were area where, people from all over the country would come and trade. So, if you still go to that old Bangalore, you will still find all of this. You will find this even in Shasanas, that all of them were actually brought together. So, cosmopolitanism has been the strength of Bengaluru. Even today, though there are efforts being made to unfairly, paint certain demands from the local people to say, speak the local language or integrate more with the local culture as parochialism or regionalism or, chauvinism. Sharan, the country that has the highest number of languages spoken in India is Bengaluru.
Correct. 105, right?
More than that. That is the strength of Bengaluru. While that is one of our strength and we are welcoming to everybody, on the other hand, it is also important that those who come to this city from outside must also make an effort to integrate and learn the local language and culture. It is just because it is so beautiful to do so. You will feel more connected to the city.
Correct.
And it is not because, it is, you should do it as a sense of duty or it is a legal, sanction. It is just because it will only help you integrate yourself much better with this culture, with this city. And that is a point if somebody tries to make, you are forced, you are labeled as regionalistic or chauvinistic or parochial, etc. I went to Delhi 6 years ago. I did not know a sentence of Hindi, Sharan. Because you know how we learn Hindi in our schools here, that's the quality of the teaching and
I would say it's better than the pedestrian Hindi that is spoken there because it does not have all those,
Yeah. The influences of different regions, etc. But still, we are not native Hindi speakers. We did not learn Hindi at home or in school. But when we went to Delhi, at least in my case, I wanted to learn Hindi well in as short a period as possible. I got myself tutors. I would sit with teachers at home for hours together and learn Hindi. I got my diction right as much as possible. I got these rim-jim, workbooks that are used to, teach CBSE kids first standard, second standard, third standard. I made those workbooks. I learnt, solving those grammar problems, doing those, Ucharan exercises. Even now, I still make mistakes with striling and pulling because the nature of the language is very different. But I made concerted effort for 6 full months to learn a language.
The secret is to confidently speak and you will get
more than that, it is to speak.
Yeah.
Make an effort to speak. I still remember when I went to Bihar, right after I was appointed as Yuva Morcha Adhyaksh, I was taken to Buxar, Ara, Samastipur, Madhubani, where I couldn't speak in fluent Hindi and people couldn't even understand a sentence of English. But my Karyakartas saw the effort I was making and they were so encouraging. They felt, okay, here is a guy who is genuinely trying to make an effort to learn our language. And they were there. I still remember by the time I came back, I told them, I am not going to come to any big cities. I will not do press conferences. But take me to the smallest of places and I will start speaking with everybody. And in 15-20 days time, it was like a crash course. I could speak good Hindi.
There's something about Bangalore.
No, hang on. And then by the time I came back, our Karyakartas had given me at least 10 different books on how to learn Hindi, Rashtrakavi, Ram Dhari Singh Dinkar's collection of kavitas. I came back. I even memorized a few, poems of Ram Dhari Singh Dinkar, and I quoted it in Parliament. So I'm just telling that an effort needs to be made to learn all languages, because every language in India is interconnected. Every language has a civilizational heritage. There is so much of tradition and there is so much of wisdom that is there in every language. So, respect for all languages, an effort to learn all languages, and especially an effort at integration wherever you go, will be greatly appreciated by the local people.
That's our greatest strength. There's something about, especially Bengaluru, that, before this whole IT revolution came about, all of us could speak 4 to 5 languages easily. And that still holds true. So when the rest of India does not understand that, I think that's where the frustration stems. That we are putting so much effort, you can do like 10% to know.
It's a very interesting point that you mentioned, which is I go back to again our cosmopolitan roots. If you speak to an average Bengaluru person who has lived here in the city for, the old Bengaluru way, he will speak to you with in at least 2-3 languages, minimum. He knows a fair bit of Hindi.
Correct.
He will understand at least Tamil and Telugu.
Correct.
He will also speak to you in some, he'll manage to speak to you in some English.
Right.
He will speak to you in Kannada. If you go to, if you have some interaction in Shivaji Nagar, Tannery Road in Fraser Town, you can also manage Urdu and, so this has always been this cosmopolitan culture. If you go towards, Kormangla and all of these things, you'll also find a little more, Malayalam and all of that. This has always been the case. So the traditional Bengaluru person, the old Bengaluru person, has always been open to learning all of these languages because we have been a melange of cultures. So suddenly now when, there is a certain resistance to learn the local languages or to integrate with the local culture, there is naturally some space for friction. But this should not be politically milked to make it an outsider versus insider kind of a debate, because there is nothing like an outsider or an insider insofar as India is concerned.
Absolutely.
As an Indian, you have every right to go to any part of the country, earn your livelihood, contribute to the countries and the societies and the local cities' economy as deservingly as the locally born person. When certain Kannada activists attacked the Jain gathering here and blackened the boards because there was no Kannada, I opposed it. And I was then called a Marwadi agent. Recently, I said, in a case where a SBI employee, a manager, she said, I don't know, I will not speak Kannada language, you do whatever you want. I said, this is wrong. There should be banking services, which is an essential service, available in the local language.
When you see that there is a government, it has stability, 2, it has resources, 3, it lacks somewhat of a vision, but they have the power to do things. Does it frustrate you that they're not doing enough?
Of course. This is, I wake up every day with the hope that today we should make some difference. And then I go back every day with frustration that we couldn't do enough. I have one resolve, Sharan. When we are stuck in a traffic jam, going through pothole-ridden, roads, etc., generally we blame politicians. Because who else do we, hold accountable? Because we have elected them. Across generations, everywhere we do this. This is the whole, frustration that comes off. I have one personal resolve. I must not be seen by the people who elected me in this batch of, we elected these people, they did do nothing. I must at least be seen that, okay, this guy tried but failed. That is a consolation that I must have. But I'm trying to try and win. But the consolation is, people should at least not say that this guy didn't even try.
Okay, let's build a scenario then. We'll do a Nayak situation here, where, of course, you don't have that executive powers. But say if you were to be somebody as powerful as DK Shiv Kumar, would you be able to solve Bangalore's problem?
100%. If I had the power that DK Shivkumar has today over Bengaluru, we will initiate structural changes to fix Bengaluru in just 1 year.
How is that possible?
First, we will have a functional corporation for Bengaluru with a powerful elected mayor who is accountable to the people of the city. One. Two, what is the strength of Bengaluru, Sharan? Do we have large mineral resources? No. Do we have a sea next to us? No. What is our strength? Our strength is our people. And the people of Bengaluru have always come forward to support great ideas and strengthen the city. We have such a strong, responsible civic activism in the city. Where are they involved? When have we last actually empowered citizens groups, the ward committees, ever in the city? They will come up with the ideas that need to be implemented in the city. They will take the ownership of actually making our wards more cleaner. That is something that we would do. Third, it is so easy to fix Bengaluru's traffic woes if you have the right intent and good policy. Every single rupee that is invested in the city must go to enhance public infrastructure, public transport infrastructure, and not incentivize more private cars. But what the current government and all governments in the past also have done is to only mindlessly build more flyovers, more underpasses, more elevated corridors that only incentivizes more and more private car ownership. The biggest menace, the biggest threat to Bengaluru's congestion problem, traffic problem is the private car.
Correct.
Cars are your problem. Remove them from the streets, replace it with buses, replace it with trams, replace it with metros. The problem will be solved.
I saw the video that you shared of Seoul, South Korea as well. And this is exactly what I've been trying to explain to people, especially even from your own party, who quote NCR as an example. But NCR's topography is completely different. It's a plain land. And the Bangalore's topography is completely different. It's almost a hill station, which was like, mowed down and then built roads upon that. So the challenge, and we don't have a river body, we don't have a water body, the lakes are dying. So we need completely a different system which moves people and not cars. And I was really glad when you said that. But can we actually do all of those things? I mean, it seems so far away and so...
No, we can definitely do it. But we should first have the intent to do it. We are building roads not for citizens, but we are building it for cars and contractors. We don't understand that the solution to traffic jams is not wider roads. It is more public transport. The focus should be to move more people, not more cars. There should be focus on building better pedestrian walkways. There should be footpaths. There must be cycling paths. The first 1 kilometer from your house to first 500 meters or a kilometer from your house to the nearest public transport must be made accessible by walk, by cycle. And from there, you must be able to take options, comfortable, reliable, affordable options. But what are we doing here, Sharan? This frustrates me, honestly.
When you look at an idea like tunnel road, it's absolutely stupid.
It is absurd, it is unscientific, and it is a blueprint for the world's greatest scam. The DPR was made by a company that was blacklisted. Because of course, no company with a reasonable track record would be willing to come up with an idea as ridiculous, as unscientific, and as costly as this. A cut and paste job was made in the DPR by quoting examples from Nayak, from Malegaon as the traffic volume study for Bangalore.
Yeah.
It was done by a shady consultant. The DPR was not made public, it was only leaked, and later an RTI was filed. There's, so much of opaqueness and, it's so shady right there. Based on this shady DPR, a tender has now been called. IISc and other organizations that are experts in urban mobility have conducted simulation studies which say that if you go ahead with the tunnel road project, it is going to be disastrous for Bangalore in 3 ways. Because one, you have to go through 18 kilometers of, underground tunnel digging, which will even compromise the city's water table. Two, it has to bore through Lal Bagh's, historic rock, which may, completely be destroyed. It may have ecological implications. Second, it is the costliest per kilometer project in the whole world. Atal Tunnel, the Zozila Pass, the Mumbai Coastal Road, all of these have a lesser per kilometer cost than this goddamn tunnel that they want to build here. 1 kilometer is costing more than 1,300 crores. And the DPR itself says that this is an economically unviable project because you have to give, because it proposes a 7,500 crore viability gap funding. And this tunnel road is only for cars. It's only the significant elite in the city who have cars. What about the majority who travel in buses, who travel in metro, who travel in bikes, who travel in motorcycles, who travel in auto rickshaws? You are not even allowed inside. This is economic apartheid. It proposes a 650 rupees toll. How many Bengalurians, Sharan, are willing to pay or can or have the capacity to pay 650 rupees every day to travel in this road? Are you building roads only for the rich? By using taxpayers' money of the poor?
And this is right along the metro line.
Absolutely, which makes the metro also unviable.
Yeah.
And the IISc simulation study says that in 1 hour, if this tunnel road can move 2,000 people, if you have metro in the same stretch, then you will have 25 to 30,000 people that you can move in the same 1 hour. It makes no sense to actually pursue this project. The only people who will benefit from this is the chief minister, the deputy chief minister, the Congress party, the contractors aligned with them, and the officials who will want to make money out of this. Nobody else. It does not benefit this.
It's like a directionless duck going around. Because when you see, Mr. Shivkumar also said the Ramnagar will be Bengaluru South. Now Mr. Parmeshwar is saying Tumkur will be Bangalore North.
Well, you should, in that case, if you are so interested in using the brand Bengaluru to escalate real estate prices in all of these districts where you have your own private lands, then even Kalburgi, Chikmagalur, Bidar, everything should be Bengaluru North Northeast, Bengaluru North West West, or some random things like this. This just shows absolutely no imagination or creativity or innovation left in governance. This is blatant real estate opportunism that is happening in Karnataka. The sad part is that it is done so brazenly, Sharan. It is done so brazenly. Every single metro project in the city is delayed. We are not focusing on completion. Since the last 15 years, the number of buses in the city has remained stagnant at around 5,500 to 6,000 buses. We have not added that. We have not made more footpaths available. We have not been able to give as basic an amenity as pothole-free roads to people. What should the taxpayer pay his taxes for? 2 hours, 2.5 hours, one way people spend their time in cars. You spend more fuel in idling than actually traveling. And the mental stress that people go through is unimaginable. Imagine what one must be feeling towards the system when he is earning hard, working so much, but spending 4 hours every day in car, which otherwise he can spend with his family, which otherwise he can spend with his young kid, teaching him how to get better at math or science. This is the frustration of the city. And honestly, who is accountable? I can give you 20 flyover projects in the city that are delayed. Just you go end of the road, this side, you have the PS College flyover that is pending. It was supposed to, it started in 2020, just a 2.5 kilometer, 5 years, it is 2 kilometers flyover. It's been 5 years, we have not been able to fix it. The EG Pura flyover, if you go this side, it is pending from 2017. 2.5 kilometers, 8.5 years, 9 years, we have not been able to complete it. I, in fact, actually seriously considered writing to the ASI, Archaeological Survey of India, to declare both these flyovers as ancient monuments. That's how frustrated you get. And the officers who were in charge, the system is so broken that the senior officers who were in charge of BBMP, when all of these 20 odd flyovers were started but never completed, have no personal accountability at all. They have now gone on to occupy much senior positions. Because the officer who is in charge of a particular project has no measurable KPI at all. It is just seniority. Whether you perform or you don't perform, you keep getting promotions. I mean, with such a broken system in place, how will you fix things? The ridership of metro comes down. The managing director of metro must be asked questions. Why is it coming down? But no, we reward them. He goes on to become, principal secretary, chief secretary, or whatever secretary.
Even the prices are so high that it's incentivizing me to take my bike out. Like if I have to come to JP Nagar from my house, it costs me 84 rupees or somewhere around that. And
No.
extremely expensive.
This is what I'm telling you. You know, the state government here in Karnataka, in Bangalore, has waged a war against public transport. We do not allow for private companies who are ready to run bus services in addition to BMTC. We do not allow them to do it. Many companies the last 3 years, at least 10 startups have come to me and said, if the state allows for, makes amendment to its Transport Act, this Stage Carriage Act, Contract Carriage Act, and allows us to run buses in addition to BMTC, we will be able to bring smaller size buses. We will be able to make more innovation. We will be able to actually solve the last mile connectivity problem to the metro. We don't allow for it. Why do we have this obsession over BMTC monopoly? Why should we not allow Bengaluru and Bengaluru startups to actually run private bus services, shuttle services?
Correct.
BMTC has only one size of buses. Why should we not allow for smaller size buses to actually go in these smaller roads?
100%.
Private companies will invest. They will run the services. Why are you not allowing it?
Yeah.
Why do you have this obsession with this socialist mindset that only the government and the BMTC must run the buses?
Yeah.
Public transport must not only be comfortable and accessible and reliable, it must also be bloody affordable. You came up with a fare fixation hike. You hike the metro prices by 130%. What was 30 rupees, 40 rupees as a ticket became 90 rupees. And if one is a everyday user of metro and metro is typically used for long distance only.
Know the reason for that and
Yeah, I'm coming there. You are a long distance commute and you are a worker in a cafe like this, you are a waiter here or in some hotel or a garment factory worker. 6,000 to 7,000 rupees you are expected to spend every month just on your metro. Who will be able to afford it? And the sad part is, the travesty is, these committee members went on a global tour to Hong Kong, Singapore, a couple of other places, out of taxpayers' expenses, to study the fares and metro systems in those countries, came back and gave a fare fixation committee report, and it is not even made public. They hiked it by 130%. You go on a trip, a study tour on taxpayers' money, you come back and increase the fare of the metro funded and built by the taxpayer by 130%. Now the taxpayer is forced to pay 130% more on every ticket. But the taxpayer is not even told as to why, on what basis this 130% release was made. Is this even democracy? 130% increase. You don't have access to fare fixation committee report. Delhi Metro's fare fixation committee reports are available online. Hyderabad Metro's is available. Why are you not putting it? Is this some national security document that if it is made public, India's enemies in China or Pakistan or somewhere else will benefit out of this?
why does it not come under the ambit of the RTI?
RTI has been filed by journalists. They have not released it.
But
I had been constrained to go to the court asking for release of this fare fixation committee report. It is absolutely absurd. Now you do this to metro and then you ban bike taxis. You illegalize carpooling. Every other city, Chennai, Mumbai, has shared auto rickshaws. You don't even allow for shared auto rickshaws here. you allow for shared auto rickshaws, it will be more business for the auto rickshaw owners, the drivers. It will be a better last mile connectivity. You will be able to move more people in one auto rickshaw than having one person per auto rickshaw.
Yeah.
It seems that somebody has to literally take a hammer
Yeah.
and knock common sense into these people who are killing Bengaluru. And one other opportunity that I feel that we have not at all explored here, Sharan, is the potential benefit that tram services can actually give to Bengaluru.
Yeah.
Every single world-class city in Europe
Has a tram.
has a tram service.
And
I was in Melbourne.
narrow roads like this, we can
Absolutely.
actually
You know,
use it.
Look at this. Imagine this scenario for a while. You come out of your house. From your house to the first 500 meters, you have good pedestrian footpaths, walkways. You also have services like Lime, Yulu, etc., where you can take an electric bike or electric scooter, take this, park it, and right there you have a tram service in narrow roads. Or you have small size electric buses.
Ah.
From there you are transported. And because tram doesn't need additional physical infrastructure, you don't need to build stations, you don't need to build flyovers. Perhaps why the politicians and the bureaucrats do not want this, because there is no money to be made there. So you can do this tomorrow. You have 3 lanes, 1 lane you dedicate it to public transport, allow only trams and buses there, allow only bikes to be there in that one end of the lane. If people realize that you are able to go to point A to point B faster using this public transport service,
They'll use it.
they will use it.
And Bangalore is meant for that. It's
A startup called Nammayatri recently did a survey of all the people in using at these jams, etc., in congestion areas, and this 95% of those who were in private vehicles said if a comfortable, reliable, affordable public transport option is made available, they will shift to it. You are not providing for public transport and you are expecting people to use it. How can people use a service that is non-existent? Ideally, public transport service to Bengaluru should comprise of this hybrid mode. The first 500 to 1 kilometer should be able to have good pedestrian infrastructure along with cycling infrastructure, because this is one city in the country that can have 365 years of 365 days of cycling.
Correct.
And walking outside. From there you can have trams that will then take you to metro stations, and if you then want to do long distance travel, use the metro.
Yeah.
For everything else, you have metro, you have auto rickshaws, you have electric two-wheelers. You have smaller options depending on the size and distance of the transport. You should reduce you should make ownership of cars redundant. But that is not what we are doing. We want to build 100 kilometers more of flyovers.
Yeah.
While 2-kilometer long flyovers that you were supposed to build 8 years ago are still awaiting completion. You want to build a 18-kilometer, 18,500 crore tunnel road, which will again get clogged in just 2 years' time. These are our priorities.
Do you feel like retiring?
I feel like fighting the system every day.
How do you keep going on and on? Doesn't it get...
It
like
gets
you wake up, you do the same thing, repeat.
I'm telling you, this is what it is. You will not believe it, Sharan. There is this Banashankari metro station and bus stand here in the Banashankari junction. In 2020, I started an effort to get a round circular skywalk made.
Okay. So that directly they can...
To connect between the metro station and the bus stand. Every day, close to 20,000 people, most of them women from garment workers, factories,
They walk on the...
even sometimes with young children in their arms, they cross this insanely busy traffic street.
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah.
3 chief ministers, 4 BBMP commissioners, 4 BMRCL MDs later, it is still not done. I somehow got, when our government was there, 50 crore rupees sanctioned to BBMP. Then it was said that no, BMRCL will implement it. Then by the time I could convince the people that okay, please transfer this 50 crores from BBMP to BMRCL, there was a change of 2 CMs and 2 MDs. And then finally a tender was called by BMRCL. Finally the tender, got response, and the tender is now still not awarded. As a everyday practice, I may have sent at least 100 messages. 100 messages to the MD and Commissioner every day. 8 o'clock. Good morning, sir. What is the status? In many instances, my replies have gone, my messages have even gone unreplied. I have been scene zoned. For how long? You're an elected representative of 24 lakh people. Am I asking for some work for my house? Is it my personal work that I'm asking for? Pregnant women, old women, people who would have finished 9 hours of 10 hours of work standing on their feet, they are struggling to cross the street. Taxpayers, you are not able to build a skywalk 1 kilometer long, 500 meters long in 6 years, and you want to compete with China? It frustrates you. But that is why I tell you that, I would rather go down in people's eyes as somebody who tried and failed than someone who never even tried.
If you're ready to embrace failure, you know that that's the first sign of success and that you're here for long. But tell me about the larger solutions that this can have, especially when you look at the voting track record in local municipal body elections. 40%, 30%, 35%, people go on vacations, they don't care about local elections.
Again, I will not blame the people again, Sharan. Government is not serious about this election. Why do we expect people to be serious about the election?
How do we empower urban bodies? Urban constituents rather.
First of all, I think a constitutional amendment is needed to further strengthen urban local governance and make it cyclical and enforceable in court. You cannot leave it to the whims of the state. The chief minister and the deputy chief minister and the MLAs certainly don't want to empower the corporators.
But because this is something that, say, an idea that your government has been pushing for, like the delimitation, would perhaps change?
Delimitation is going to benefit urban India in 2 ways. One, the number of seats in urban areas is going to drastically increase. So the representation in the assembly and parliament from urban areas in the coming years will naturally be more. So this is definitely going to give more political voice to urban issues. Naturally, as a consequence, there is going to be more political capital and financial capital allotted to India's cities.
Correct. Yeah.
I think these 2 benefits will definitely come with the census and the delimitation that will follow the census. I hope that this is going to open a new chapter of better urban governance for the country. But I'll go back and say that this is a more institutional problem.
Yeah.
We need to have strong municipal corporations where elections are held cyclically, like the way parliamentary elections, like state elections are done once in 5 years. And it is constitutionally enforceable. And financial empowerment of these institutions take place, where the mayor who gets elected has the authority to actually get things done or be booted out of office. Not just go around one full year wearing, some colonial red gown, cutting ribbons in places and attending events. Actually empower ward committees. Actually have a master plan that is actually implemented. Do you know a city like Bengaluru, which is India's economic heartbeat, India's Silicon Valley, the third largest startup ecosystem in the world, does not have a master plan? We do not have a vision of how the city should be in the next 25 years. This speaks of the pathetic governance standards in the city.
When we're almost concluding, when you know that you're in for the grind in the long run, how do you prepare for it? Because you know that these solutions cannot be fixed even by you in the short run.
I think public education is a very important starting point, which is why, efforts like this to educate people on these issues is important. Political parties must start understanding that these issues are very important. We need to, and I think there will also be a tipping point, Sharan, and I'm waiting for the tipping point actually, where people who are actually frustrated with this, urban mess will actually start vocally demanding for these solutions from political parties and leaders.
Yeah.
That is when this governance deficit will be fixed. And honestly, I think, in my interactions with policymakers, bureaucrats, political party leaders, even in urban areas, most of them still do not understand urban planning, urban design, public transport, transit-oriented development, all of these things. Because most of them came from rural areas, and have settled in the cities, and we have not actually given a orientation on how urban planning is to be done. I think with new political leaders, new generation of political leaders born and bred in cities who would have traveled the world, understand urbanism, understand urban design, understand public transport, when they get empowered, when they come into positions of authority, I think it will definitely yield big results. And state capacity building. Do you know BBMP does not even have, I told you, it doesn't have urban planners, it does not have traffic engineers. So we need to build this cadre. So, with more specialists in place, more public education, more educated, modern policy makers, things will get better.
It's been an absolute pleasure spending time with you and talking to you. Thank you so much for giving us your time.
Thank you so much, sir. All the best.
Thank you.
Namaste. I just had the pleasure of talking to Sharan Setty on a wide range of issues on his very interesting, very impressive channel, Bodh. I request all of you to follow and subscribe this channel for unbiased, intelligent, and insightful analysis on news, current affairs, and most importantly, long form opinions on issues that matter to all of us. All the very best to Sharan and team Bodh. Namaste.